Hello friends, it is Julie. Welcome back to Pages and Pens. Today I am here with a reading vlog. Let's jump right into it. This reading vlog is going to be a long process. I have a lot of arcs to read. It is going to be a reading my Netgalley vlog. And I recently had an influx of Netgalley arcs come in from Penguin Teen. A lot of them are thrillers, some of them are fantasy, and a lot of them are ones that I'm very excited for. So I'm going to go over what is on my immediate to-read list. Hopefully I can read through them somewhat quickly, but I do have a lot of other projects and a lot of other things going on, so I don't know how long this will take. I will be checking in as I read, and this will be up at some point sometime. I don't anticipate this being up anytime soon, but let's go over what I have on my Netgalley shelf. The Sky Above Us, which is by Natalie Lund. This one comes out on April 13th, so I'm gonna get to that one sooner than later. That one is a thriller. I believe that follows a plane crash and a couple of friends in the aftermath of a plane crash. You're So Dead, which comes out on June 15th. So I've got some time for that one. This one is a hilarious, apparently, Agatha Christie thriller-inspired comedy about three best friends who sneak into an influencers only festival event gone wrong, only to discover a killer is in their midst. Sounds amazing. And then I have We Are the Ashes, We Are the Fire by Joy McCullough. This one is coming out on February 9th. And I do think I can get through this one because this one is a contemporary YA about, it's told in prose and verse. So I think it's going to be a fast read. This one is also going to be a hard-hitting one. This one is about a girl who wants justice after her sister's rapist is released from prison after serving no time, or released without serving any time. Says it's a searing and nuanced portrayal of young women torn between the persistent desire for revenge and a burning need for hope. I have My Ride or Die by Leslie Cohen. This one is an adult general fiction, and it comes out on April 20th. This one is about two friends who decide to just forego dudes and, like, I don't know if they marry one another or they decide to move in together. They decide to form an alliance. They rely on each other, give men the secondary role that they deserve. They fix up a rundown brownstone, create the home they've always wanted. Soon they have love and emotional support as well as a whole variety of male crushes on the side. But when one of their crushes becomes something more, they have to reconsider how they began doing all of this and whether or not to keep doing it. So it's about two friends that decide to just, like, say, enough with men, we're gonna just do our own thing. And I think they're a little bit older, like they're already professionals, and I'm here for that. Tell Me My Name by Amy Reed. This one comes out on March 9th. This one is We Were Liars meets Speak, in a haunting, mesmerizing psychological thriller, a gender-flipped YA Great Gatsby that will linger long after the final line. A gender-bent retelling of Great Gatsby, not really, but We Were the Liars meets Speak, maybe? It's an enthralling, mind-altering psychological thriller about the cost of being a girl in a world that takes so much and the enormity of what is regained when we take it back, which I am here for. So that one sounded very exciting for me. And then I have one that I'm already 40% of the way through, and that's The Initial Insult by Mindy McGinnis. I got the audiobook of this one, and this is a gender-bent Count of Monte Cristo retelling, I believe, is what this one is. And it follows a Halloween costume party at an abandoned house that provides the ideal situation for Tress to pry the truth from Felicity brick by brick as she slowly seals in her former best friend into a coal chute. And she's trying to look for answers after her parents have died. Again, 41% of the way through that one, and I'm not enjoying it. It's a fast audiobook. I think it's only about 7 hours. Nothing fantastic yet. In fact, it's got, like, somewhat problematic-ish stuff going on, so we'll see how Mindy McGinnis brings that one back around. And then I have Switch by A.S. King, which comes out on May 11th. Oh, the Final Insult comes out, did I say when? February 23rd. And then Switch comes out on May 11th, so I have plenty of time for that one, but I am already reading it. This one is a surreal, timely novel about isolation and the human condition. Time has stopped, and it's been June 23rd, 2020 for nearly a year. Frantic adults demand teenagers focus on the practical solutions to a worldwide crisis. Not everybody is on board. Lives in a house with a switch that no one ever touches. A switch that her father protects every day by nailing it into hundreds of progressively larger boxes, but she's got a crowbar, and one way or another she's going to see what happens when she flips the switch. And it's about a girl in Pennsylvania, which, you know, I'm here for. So I've not read any A.S. King before, but this is where I'm starting, apparently. I do have Dig on my shelf, but I haven't read it yet. Those are the arcs that I have right now. So that's what, 7? With my best intentions, this reading vlog will be reading these books, and I'll keep you posted. So like I said, so far, for Initial Insult, we have some problematic stuff. A lot of teenage drinking, teenage drug use. There's like a weird flu going on. People are like puking, but also drinking, and also exploiting people on social media. It's not fantastic, but there's got to be something deeper going on. Like, Mindy goes there. She definitely has a darker tone to her writing, but she usually isn't just outright problematic. So hopefully I have an update for you soon, but that's my intro. That's my goals. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm going to try to read through some of these Netgalleys, raise that score up, because it's hurting right now. I've ignored a lot of Netgalley arcs. We're going to see what we can do a la Chelsea Darling reads, but yeah, this has been in the works for a little bit. We'll see how I do. I am 80% of the way now through Initial Insult. Right? Is that the name of the book? I think. Mindy McGinnis's book. And it is very walling up of a foe, but also, I don't know how I feel about this one. We have a secret illness as a trope. I don't love that. I don't want to spoil the book because it's Mindy McGinnis, and I know a ton of people are going to read it, and that's totally fine. But I don't love some of the things that are happening. We have a main character who has been orphaned, who's being raised by her grandfather. There's clear neglect and like borderline child abuse. Not child abuse, just child abuse is happening. Teenage drug dealers, drug users, drug addicts, excessive drinking, binge drinking, a town that just says, you're important people, so we're going to overlook it. And then also kids that are underage being exploited on the internet, nude, that are being streamed live on social media platforms as a form of entertainment when they're drunk and under the influence because they think it makes people like them, taking dares and bets because they think that makes people, you know, care about them. It makes other people friends. If they can make people laugh, then maybe people will like them. Drunk to the point of like alcohol poisoning, live streaming, naked, you know, but like people are doing that to them, cheering them on in like a crowd at a party. It's not fantastic. It's a combination of some of her books. Like, it's kind of got heroin vibes where you've got addiction, severe addiction to opioids and drugs and drinking, and then you have something like her other one, the survival story that I'm forgetting the name of right now, where there's like body gore and injuries. And so it's a mix of both of those things along with a retelling. And there's also racist comments about like the one black girl in town, a lot of comments about her being black but not really black because she's mixed. And it's not, I don't love it. And I saw it from the beginning and I was like, it's Mindy though. She doesn't like get outright problematic. It's just like edgy. But like, this is not, I don't love it. So we're going to see how it comes full circle. But as of right now, it's not a good time at all. I'm going to get back to reading and I'll check in later. I should be done Mindy's book tomorrow. I did Diamond Paint while I listened today. I got like 40% through. 40% further. So tomorrow I'll be able to finish that up. No problem, and I'll keep you posted. I am back with a quick update for my Netgalley reading vlog. I finished Mindy McGinnis's The Initial Insult, and I did not like it. I usually love Mindy McGinnis's work, and I don't know if it was because it was a retelling, although I don't really think so. Normally, she definitely goes there. She gets gritty, she gets really, really raw, and this is not her best work in my opinion. It is a mix of Be Not Far From Me and heroin. There is drug abuse, drug use, addiction. There's also this body gore, gruesome aspect to it. There's grief. We're following weird, a really strange POV of like the mind of an animal from her theme park, or from her like trailer park, animal park, this panther, I believe, and it's just not for me. There was blatant racism towards a biracial girl who is both black and white, and there's multiple comments about, oh, well, the police might not treat her as badly because she is half white, or she's black, but she is half white, and then when they're young, the kids get lice, and they're like, well, you don't get them because you're black. Well, maybe you do because you're only half black. And it was just kind of not great and went mostly unquestioned. There was also the shared footage, like live streaming through social media, of a kid who was very, very drunk, under the influence, and naked, and they were taking suggestions from people online for all these different ways to like haze him, to ask him questions that he would answer. They described a really funny situation where he thought that he was like making friends, but it was clear that he wasn't, where they had super glued his lips shut and his eyelids open and his eyes were water. Like, that's torture, and it wasn't a good look. There was no reason for it besides like one of the main characters, or one of the characters, being like, well, these guys really want to beat him up, so if I keep him here on the live stream, then, you know, it's too public, they won't beat him up. It's like, cool, but you are now perpetuating like a child porn. Like, he's under 18 and he's naked on the internet and you're torturing him. So like, maybe just step up and tell these dudes not to beat him up, or like go for help. It wasn't my thing. I really, like, it pissed me off a lot. So that got a whopping 1.75 or 1.5 stars. Thank you, Storygraph, because I can mark it at least moderately. Like, some things were discussed, and as a retelling goes for The Count of Monte Cristo, it worked. Or The Count of Amontillado. I keep saying Monte Cristo. It's the other one. Whatever. The Cask of Amontillado, right? Yeah. I don't like it. I didn't like it. So, you know, whatever. Now, We Are the Ashes, We Are the Fire, I am reading as well. I'm about 30% of the way into that, and I have some thoughts. I've been writing them down as I've been reading, because they're not all great, and I have a feeling some of this might get fixed in the early edits. At least I hope they get fixed in the early edits. So there is, in this, a character that uses they, them pronouns. There is a discussion about trans rights, women's rights, and a lot of very forward-thinking things. Fantastic. But then there's also, like, I put on my Gryffindor robe, and I'm like, but should you? It just felt like it didn't match the rest of the vibe. Like, I think we're past the point of putting Harry Potter references into the books as, like, a pop culture reference, especially for a character that's supposed to be very inclusive and would have been like aware of how problematic J.K. Rowling was. I'm assuming that was like one line. I'm assuming that's going to come out of the book. I'd be hard pressed to imagine it doesn't, so we won't hold that against it. Then there was a whole thing in the beginning about like, there's no way Hillary Clinton doesn't win this election because the other person running against her is like a serial sexual abuser and da-da-da-da. And I get it, the book is about rape and sexual assault and just misogyny in general, but it times the book, it dates the book in like a not great way. Like, it was, I get it, and it's, we've seen it done in like red, white, and royal blue, but it at this point, you know, like, we're past the T-word stage, and like, it's a blight on our history that I think we're just really happier, not necessarily forgetting happened, but it just dates the book a lot to have that reference. I don't love that for the book. There's also the like blurb that says it's like told in prose and in verse, and it is not at all. It's a book with full-fledged actual chapters. I don't know if that's the formatting of the arc that I have, or it's going to be told different later, but it is like a full narrative. It's a novel. It's not told in verse. It's not a quick read. There are little snippets where she's writing a story that are told in verse, but they are few and far between, and they don't come until like later, like a little bit later into the book. Again, I'm only 30% of the way in, but they don't start in the beginning. I don't love that I kind of had the maybe misconception based on the synopsis that this was going to be a faster read because it was told in verse and prose. It's not. It's a novel, and it's about a sibling of a rape survivor and guilt and frustration and anger at the justice system and the good old boys club and people getting off without any kind of punishment after, you know, rape. And in this situation, it is a guilty verdict and then a judge who decides this boy has suffered enough and he seems sorry, so we're not going to send him to jail. And then the book goes from there, which is just crappy. I finished Initial Insult, which we've already talked about. I also finished We Are the Ashes, We Are the Fire by an author whose name I forget, but I will put the title, the cover, it'll be here, right here. Giving this one 2.5 stars. I don't, like, look at me with the story graph, just being able to give half stars. I didn't love it. I didn't love the character development. I didn't love the way the topics were handled. It is about a girl who's angry after her sister's rapist gets off without any jail time. But I've read other books that are YA that handle this topic just better, more cohesively, in my own personal opinion. It does have diversity. Our main character is biracial. They have a Spanish background. I don't know if it's like Portuguese or Mexican, a Spanish-speaking background, and then a white parent. They have a friend who uses they, them pronouns. There is like, there's a lot discussed. It was also said that it was told in prose and verse, and it was not. It discusses a lot, but in my personal opinion, I did not love the way that the story was told. I didn't love the story within the story, and I just never cared about our characters. And I probably should have. So for me, it was a miss. It was 2.5 stars, but like a gorgeous cover. It's a beautiful cover, but it just wasn't for me. I have finished now my reviews on Netgalley for The Initial Insult and for We Are the Ashes, We Are the Fire. They're not for me. So I'm going to switch over to Switch by A.S. King, which I'm hoping to enjoy. I had started it and I was enjoying it, so I'm going to dive back into that. That will be the next one that I read. I'm not really looking at release date. I probably should be. I just kind of want a mood read, which is what I'm doing outside of my ARC reading vlog as well. But I wanted to update you. Today is the 5th of February. I started this at the very last day of January, I think. So I'm not doing too bad. And I'm getting through them. So I will update you the next time I have read something at all, anything at all. So unfortunately for me, it was a no. I couldn't do it, which means I officially DNF'd We Are the Ashes, We Are the Fire and Switch. Not a great start. I'm currently reading Tell Me My Name by Amy Reed, and that one is starting off a lot stronger. I'm only 9% of the way through that one. But so far I read The Initial Insult, did not like it, and DNF'd 2 books that I thought I was going to really, really love. I'm getting very nervous. I don't know what kind of a vlog this is going to be, with the exception of just saying these stories weren't for me. I don't know. I think for We Are the Ashes, We Are the Fire, it was the way the story was laid out. For Initial Insult, it was the entirety of the story. I just didn't like it. And then for Switch, I think it was really the format style of the ebook. I have a feeling the final book is going to be fine. The physical book will be fine. Audiobook would probably be fine. But there's the ebook formatting. I could not make myself want to sit down and read it, and it was just very confusing. There was X's and letters in places. There was forward slashes throughout, where I can only assume it was meant to be pro or like a poetry kind of an entry, but I don't know. So yeah, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Sorry, Netgalley ratings. I mean, I don't know. It was not a fun time, and I didn't want to do it. So now, Tell Me My Name seems to be a lot more straightforward. I can move forward with that one, and I'll keep you posted. But I am reading other books at the same time. Not horrible. Not great. It's pretty horrible. It's me, back with a vlog that I thought I was scrapping, so I stopped updating. because I've been reading arcs on my Kindle. And here's the thing, I did not like any of them. I read Initial Insult by Mindy McGinnis, and then I gave it like a 2 stars. I read We Are the Ashes, We Are the Fire, and I ended up DNFing that. I did not like the story. I did not like the characters. I did not like very much about it. The prose and like told in verse portions were a story, and I know that they like, there was a theme, there was a mission there. It was very feminist. It was very much like female empowerment, but also talking about the way that young women are sexualized. It was a harrowing story. I just couldn't, I didn't jive with the way the story was told. Also didn't have very many bright points or light points. It was a lot of just deep dark and felt very like trauma porn-ish. Like it wasn't for me. So then I moved on to A.S. King's Switch, and I really thought this would be like a cool concept. It was about Pennsylvania, about a place like the world stuck in time, and this house with a switch inside a box, and the box keeps getting bigger and bigger because the dad keeps building boxes around it until like their whole house is just boxes, and they have to live within these tiny little corridors of the house because the house is now just boxes for this switch. I am assuming there's an analogy there, that there's a bigger picture, that there's a bigger message. I could not get through the ebook. The concept wasn't awful. It was also very unreliable, and we also had really weird formatting in the ebook, and I just couldn't get through it. I want to say I probably got like 38 to 50% of the way through both of those books, and then stopped. And then I was like, this is awful. I'm scrapping this vlog because I 2-starred something, I DNF'd 2 things. I can't keep doing this. So then I said, let me see if I can get through Tell Me My Name, because it looked like it was a psychological thriller. It was comped as a We Are Liars meets something, and I forget what it was like, what it meets. Oh, The Great Gatsby, like a gender bent Great Gatsby retelling mixed with We Were Liars. We Were Liars. And I love We Were Liars. So I was like, this is going to be my book. This is going to be for me. I DNF'd at 51%. The main character was fine, but also she had this inner monologue that was very time jumpy. Like she would imagine things happening over what was actually happening, and it didn't make very much sense. There was a lot of entitled children, like wealthy children, a lot of drug use, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, mocking of overdosing and eating disorders and fame and what that does to people. The parents were awful. Fern's parents were fine. Her fathers were involved or wanted to be, but then still seemed to have no idea what was happening. Every relationship was incredibly toxic. I get it. It's a Great Gatsby retelling. I have a feeling there might have been a twist at the end of the book that kind of like redeemed stuff for me. Like I feel like it would have come together at the end, but I just did not care about the characters, and I DNF'd it. During the course of the filming, I got approved for a couple more arcs. I got approved for Emily Henry's People We Meet on Vacation, as well as Deb Coletti's new one. Even though I finished 4, I got 2 more. My rating just kind of all evened out, especially with the DNFs. So I don't think it made a bit of difference. Right now I'm at 69%. And I was like, this vlog's never going to see the light of day because I hated everything. What kind of vlog is that? But then I read a 5-star arc. So we're going to talk about it. I picked up The House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland, and I loved it. So I figured, let's let this vlog just see the light of day. Because it didn't start great, it didn't do great in the middle, but like the end, I'm really happy with. Guys, I almost didn't get this book when I was offered it. The cover is stunning. Like, it's beautiful. It's giving me like Rory Powers vibes. I've already pre-ordered this book. I adored it. It is a story about 3 sisters who go missing when they are young. So Iris is our main character, and she's 7 when she goes missing. Her eldest sister is Gray. Her middle sister is Vivi. They go missing, and they come back 30 days, 31 days later, but they're different. They used to be dark-haired, blue-eyed, and they come back, and their hair turns to white, and their eyes go black. Basically just the color of their irises is like the color of their whole eye. And they change. Dad starts freaking out, like, these aren't my kids. You get the whole, like, are they changeling situations. They come back and they've got these like magical powers. It's so strange, but it's so cool. It was creepy. It had a lot of like body gore kind of moments. It was very, very creepy. It was a mix of Wayward Children, the Hazelwood, and maybe even a little bit of Wilder Girls. It was very cool, very different. And it was very much a mix of speculative fiction, horror, and these like broken doorway stories. And I just thoroughly enjoyed the reading process. I read it really quickly and enjoyed every bit of it. And the cover is stunning, so I have pre-ordered mine. And I gave it 5 stars. And I almost didn't pick it up. So there's that. I still have more ARCs. I still have 2 more YA thrillers. I have 2 adult contemporaries and 1 YA contemporary. I'm excited about what I have left. I think they all have a lot of potential. But I'm going to end this vlog here because 3 DNFs, a 2-star, and a 5-star. I'm not going to get better than that 5-star right now. So I'm just going to end it. I'll probably do another one that has the other 3 remaining YA, and then I'll do an adult contemporary one. But yeah, that's going to be it for this particular vlog. It's not great, and I'm sorry. I really was going to scrap it, but then I read The House of Hollow, and I wanted to share my thoughts because it's pretty cool, and I really liked it. Granted, it's not for everybody. If you follow me on Storygraph, my link is down below, or my username is down below for the Storygraph. I do have a full review on The House of Hollow with all of the content warnings. There's a lot. So if you have any specific questions about that, you can DM me and ask. Or if you have a specific one that you're wondering if it exists in The House of Hollow, you can let me know in a comment down below because it is dark. And if you have any questions, let me know down below. But that's going to be it for this vlog. If you liked it, do give me a big thumbs up, click subscribe, and I'll see all of you in my next video. Bye, guys.